Hello, the converted man here. Well, that's a lackluster opening. I think I'm back. So what happened was I pushed the hang up button instead of the stop screen sharing button. And that was the end of the first hangout that I was doing on this calling the soul phone thing. And I was just about to read all the comments in the chat and go over those and thank everybody and all that, and then it went away because I hit the wrong thing. So um, the publications that Gary has done, the link for that's in the first hangout. And yeah, I mean, it's got a lot of things he printed or published, but I don't know what the score means here. Like, what that, how good it is to have just the number one as a score. But I'm guessing it's not very good. I'm not sure exactly how you're supposed to read that. So, but yeah, it seems to me like the creationist scientists, like where their careers failed. It might be a case of this guy's career failed, so he went into this woo, and he's just trying to make a living. I'm gonna go now that the thing is processed. I'm gonna try to read these comments from the other hangout, and okay, so let's see. Where did I leave off? Okay. Yeah, expression and Miss Catastrophe had pointed out the thing. I, Dr. Oblivious, wanted to ask what the studies were. Like, yeah, I do. I want to know, like, what studies are they talking about? Like, when and where were they conducted? Brian had run. Yeah, it was on the non-secretary show. I mean, they did it better. They talked to the guy, or one of the, not the guy, not the doctor guy, but they talked to like a spokesman. It was like there was apparently some research a decade ago, but I'd have to see that. I don't know why they wouldn't link it on their website. Schwartz is a snake oil vendor. Yeah. Let's see. Harvard. Yeah. Yeah, he does have an accredit. I mean, he does have a PhD. So, and he has some citations. So, he's written stuff, but I mean, if you're if you're going to be a psychologist, and that's an interesting thing, maybe you do want to investigate the paranormal, but I think you go into that maybe like for a little bit, and then you realize that there's nothing to find, and then you would exit. Like, that, I mean, if you were honest about it, you would go in, you would test the mediums, you would find that they're all bull, and then you would be like, well, that was the end of that. I did 100, 1,000 of them. That's a pretty good sample size. If you got like 1,000 mediums, that'd be decent enough. And you could make a pretty decent conclusion on that, and that would be the end of that study. It'd probably not even be a year that you could do it in less time. You'd probably get more people if you wanted. His research might be sloppy. He doesn't have research that I could tell. That was Dr. Oblivious saying that. And unfortunately, there's PhDs to get them for less credible work, but usually they get one of them to go on a tangent. Yeah, I mean, just having a PhD doesn't mean that you're going to be successful in your career, nor does it give you any additional credit as far as logic goes, because you have the appeal to authority, But I mean, if you had to choose between a PhD doctor and a doctor without a PhD, well, the whole doctor is, I mean, what do they call doctor? someone with 2 PhDs might have more information than somebody with one, but the person with 1 PhD might actually know more because they specified in that, which is why there's so many different doctors. You know, you go to your general doctor and they're like, okay, I'm going to go send you to see the foot guy. Imagine being that person. Like, I want to go into feet. I mean, okay, great. We need somebody that does that, but but that's the path, I don't know the path that life took this guy, but it was down the wrong path. Here we go. Dr. Oblivious is back on this. I got the publication history. It's in. I put it in the notes for the first hangout. I really wanted to just do this one to kind of catch up on the chat, so that people didn't feel like I was ignoring them. But I'll put it here too, just to make sure. Dr. Oblivious has read a couple of his papers more than 10 years ago, but he remembers some of it. Okay, yeah, I mean, do you want to come in and talk live? You can do that. I don't care. That's cool with me. I'm if what I don't understand is the website itself offered nothing. So I see that as a big, ginormous red flag. Like, why wouldn't you put whatever research he had done? Doesn't matter. Okay, it's 10 years ago, but still, at least cite the dang research on your own website where you're talking about this soul phone, whatever the bleep that is. Why wouldn't you say, here's the publication that he did about that? Here's that study that he did. Have something. But there's nothing there, and that screams a problem to me, because it's a big red flag. Yeah, it is. I mean, it indicates that the study wasn't very well done. Maybe, I mean, there's all sorts. Well, it doesn't really indicate anything. I should take that back. What it says that, okay, so he's had some research done, but the website of the soul phone doesn't link to the study. So why? Even if you want to say, well, that has nothing to do with the current soul phone, like, okay, fine, but that's research that lends more credence to his credibility, So it's just it something fishy is going on, and I would read into that to be that maybe the research wasn't well done, maybe it wasn't really science, maybe a lot of things, but why keep it, and why not have it on the skeptic corner, because that's supposed to be for the skeptics, unless it's not for the skeptics. So there's a lot of more questions are raised than answered by their answer by their answer page, which I find amusing. But I think I covered all the questions or statements made in chat. Let's just see if that one guy can join me in the live hangout or not, because that would be interesting. I'd like to. No, that was the wrong hangout. Click on the right one. Trying to get the links ported over to this. I'd like to. So maybe you could tell me, the chaos guy, whatever your name was. I can't remember your name because I'm not looking straight at it. Expression and mist. Is the score of 1 a good or bad thing on that website where it shows his publications? Because like every publication he has is a score of 1, and it looks like the last year was 2 years ago. I mean, he's published a lot of things. I mean, okay, credit where credit's due, and I don't know how helpful that's been. No, wait, it's not in order. Never mind. He might have published something later than that. Well, this guy is old because he's got publications going back before I was born. But they all have a score of 1. So I don't know what that means. It could be bad. It could be good. I don't know. Just read. There's that there. So Oh, here I've got Paul in here. Hey, Paul.
Hi.
Hey, I didn't notice you were in here. I was looking at. I was looking at other things. So yeah. So I guess I don't know if Doctor Oblivious can join us or not. Can you join in, Doctor Oblivious, or no?
Oblivious.
Okay.
What? Everything?
No, that's his avatar name. Is I Doctor Oblivious, and
I understand that, but I was being sarcastic.
oh, here we go. Is it? No, I heard. No, that was me. I heard. I thought I heard him pop in. Couldn't get to work on your phone. No, it doesn't. No, you can't. No, you can't. You can't do Hangouts by phone. I don't think so. Darn. Well, at any rate, if you find the link, link it in the chat, or email me the link, and then I'll post the link or something. Let's. All right, there we go. Okay, I put that. Wait, did I just spell my name wrong? Yes, I did. He could do it on his laptop, but he don't have headphones. Oh, well, yeah. Just email me whatever the research was, and I'll add it to my links here. But okay, so Paul, we called the Sol phone. Okay, you can give me the gist here. Fine. Okay. And this website has a Sol phone, and you can call the dead with it, apparently. But not yet. You know, they're not ready yet to release the information to the public. So what do you think? You think you could call the dead there? You believe this website at all?
You are actually asking me a question like that. Think about it.
I mean, come on. Look, I was skeptical at first, but they said that they had the top mediums helping them. The top mediums. I mean, I was skeptical until they said that, but I mean, come on, they got the top mediums helping them with this. It's got to be real now, right?
So,
yeah, well, it's great. So
you
would
say the obvious, but no.
Yeah. Well, here's the website. I read it on the other Hangout. I went through all this and the non-answers to the non-questions that they ask, and they were talking to the spokesman of this website on the Non Sequitur show, and you know he's making claims left and right, and like they have this device that's like a switch, whatever the bleep that means. I guess it's like a light or something. I don't know, but you can ask it yes or no questions, and you can find out. You know, am I talking to Einstein right now? Oh, it lit up, so that's a yes. You know, you can ask different questions, yes or no, and like you. Supposedly, you know, talk to different dead people with this device, and they said it's like 90% accurate, but yet they're not ready to show any of their data to the public. I'm like, dude, 90%. Forget. Why would you, if you really had that, if you really had something that was that darn accurate, you would release it now. And why would you?
No.
Why wouldn't you?
100% accurate.
Well, 90% is still pretty dang good.
No.
That's still pretty good, especially if we could get information that we didn't have before.
They got the Higgs boson. They detected that.
Yeah.
You know the percentage they had to get to before they said that they were sure?
Yeah, right. In science,
99.9999.
Yeah, right, but this isn't really. I'm just saying, if you had an actual device. Oh, here we go. I got somebody here.
Yeah, I got it to work on my phone.
Hey, finally. Got it to work. Okay, I want to hear from Doctor here. Not real Doctor, I'm guessing. It's just your avatar name. But at least you're willing to admit
Dr. Confusion.
Dr. Confusion. Whatever.
You used to know me as Original Autist. We used to hang out on the Quiet Atheist channel.
Oh, wow. That was some time ago. That was back in the day, man, before all sorts of crap happened to him.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, I don't know how I know he's still hard up for money and stuff. I couldn't help him anymore. I'm like out of money myself, so I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, just don't ask me again. Like, I didn't want to come off harsh, but I had to say it that way. I was like, you know.
Yeah, I have kind of the same problem. So,
Anyway, so yeah, this
okay, let me give you the couple of things I remember about it. The first one, the one for which he was famous, Dr. Schwartz, was basically superstar mediums versus students, is what it came down to. He was testing whether, and I can't think of those names, but name some big ass TV show mediums. I think those are the ones that he
oh,
had.
like the one that was on that oh god, she was wrong about like the person being dead
Well, not
and all
her
that.
specifically. There's a guy. I can't think of his name now.
I
It's the
can't
son of
remember
a
any
bitch.
of his names. Yeah,
Damn.
but
Anyway,
the
there's
guy that
people.
looks like ghosts and talks to
Right.
Sylvia
ghosts
There's
Brown.
there's names
How about
everybody would
Sylvia
know.
Brown?
Sylvia Brown. Yeah, what was the
No.
other guy that had
I, I meant the guy who used to go after her. And anyway, the funny thing is, she predicted to die 80 something. She didn't make it, but being dead younger doesn't give her any problems.
yeah, like she didn't see her own death coming, so I don't
No,
know.
Uh,
she said she would live into the 80s, and she didn't make it.
Yeah,
anyway, there was the couple of names that I can't pull up right now,
yeah. At
but
any
big
rate, so
known people. So basically, the experiment was he had them, and he had some like student volunteers. They're doing basically readings of people, like mediumship readings in a
mhm.
laboratory settings.
Yeah,
And the superstar mediums did way better than the students, and that was his big thing that made a big splash. Like, I don't know, that was maybe the late 90s, early 2000s. I'll tell you the basis of the experiment, and then you'll know what's wrong with it right away. So basically, you had random people selected for readings, okay? And then the students would do a reading for them, and the superstar psychics would do a reading for them. And the superstar psychics got a lot more hits. Well, of course, you might be thinking about cold reading at this point, right?
yeah, or hot
Okay,
reading.
it's worse than that. It's worse than that. When you actually read the paper, which I did, the students were given sets of things to ask and speculate upon. So they were actually reading a list. The superstar psychics were allowed to ask questions and give follow up based on the answers to those questions. Now, do you know why they did better than the students?
Yeah, I mean, so it's weighted against the students, right?
Exactly. So that
So,
was a big one.
so not
That was
only is it so you don't have controls, and you don't have controls. Period.
right. Well, you don't have the correct controls. The
Right.
controls were that
Oh yeah, the controls are there to get the result you want. Well,
neither the students nor the superstar psychics were in the same room as the person being read, so they couldn't actually see them. They were just basically getting yes no answers from them. That was the controls. That's not enough when you allow the superstar psychics to ask follow-ups based on yes answers. Okay, the other one, which is also referred to in the things you were reading on there, the photon box experiment. I'll remember that as best I can. So the theory there was, and this is why I referenced the Casimir effect, they used a vacuum chamber sealed and completely light locked inside a box in a laboratory that had a super sensitive photon detector in it. Are you following me so far?
yeah. Go on.
So this is where it goes with the Casimir effect. So the idea was they used these mediums, but they would get like the mediums would not know theoretically. They just get a call at a random time, selected by a computer, randomly generated time. It would call them, and then they would get into their trance or whatever, and they would ask the spirits to put energy into that box, right?
Yeah.
And so theoretically, he got some positive results, and there was an increase in photons because it was typically zero in a sealed box. Every once in a while, there'd be one tick, sometimes two. But on the average, when he was theoretically having these psychics ask spirits to put energy in the box, he was getting like 3 photons. Is
Mm.
that significant? I don't know. It doesn't sound that great to me. But I have a feeling this spirit phone thing is based on that, the photon detector in a sealed vacuum tube, where theoretically spirits could ding the detector with photons.
Well,
See,
I
the
mean,
problem with that, real quick, the box has heat, does it not?
yeah.
It's
Well,
emitting photons already. That
I
cause
know
it
what
to
you're
red.
saying. Theoretically, in this experiment, it was like a vacuum tube sealed inside a box, sealed inside another box, and just this detector thing. And don't ask me to explain it. But
But
that
I
was
mean, it doesn't even. It doesn't sound like that there was proper any documentation or controls or anything put on this.
well, theoretically, I'm not defending this. I'm just saying, theoretically, the controls were it was in a sealed chamber. The computer simply kept track of any photons detected in the box, and another computer randomly selected when to call a psychic to tell them to do this thing that they do.
Yeah.
And then, you have the computer's constantly recording whether it detects photons or not. So theoretically, you can line up increased photons with when a psychic was supposed to be doing something. That was the theory of the experiment.
Yeah, but I mean, all that sounds great but you don't have. They didn't. That's not. None of that is examinable from the website of the the Soul Phone Foundation.
Right.
None of it's none of those studies are referenced or linked. No video, no documentation, no anything. So it's like, yeah, you could say that you did that study all you want, and maybe you did. I don't know, but you didn't show me anything that supports this at all.
Right.
So, I don't know how it was done or where or when or what control, how well was it documented, and I've seen them actually test, Randy went to like Russia, and, they were,
I got that.
yeah, you've seen that one, right?
I have.
And they thought that the psychic or whatever guy could control the mind or the heart rate or whatever of the person, and they had him in a different room, and they did the randomization and all that, and he got what it would be from chance. He got like 1 out of 5 or whatever it was.
What you would expect.
See the one part I loved where they were charging the water.
Oh, that's something I didn't.
They were charging the water, and then Randy, of course, came in and he was going to do some stuff, and they had this stupid detector thing that all you had to do was, well, anyway, that goes beyond the point. But the thing was, there was 2 guys, and you could watch the guy who was like the backup. When Randy was asking questions, you can see the worried look on his face, like the jig is up. Okay?
Yeah.
That the testing is going to fail. But then the other guy says, well, after a while, what happens with the charging of the water? Because they were supposed to charge a water, and then they were going to come in and detect which ones were or were not. So, of course, he wanted them to do a double blind test, which they would fail. But the guy says later, he says, well, what happens after a while, the water starts to charge the other ones.
Right,
so
yeah.
Can't
so
find out which one
becomes
was
unfalsifiable really fast.
and
right.
No, but the look on the other guy's face went from, oh, the shit is up to, oh, smiles. Oh, we got out of that one.
Here's a whole video from this Gary Schwartz on the Soul Phone and super significant whatever, just throw enough words at it until it sounds, it's pseudoscience. That's all it is. It's just making it sound like it's something when it's not. And what I find to be the proof of the pudding, if you will, is that in their little, their For the Skeptic Corner thing on their website is everything is just asserted without a single and no video, no doc, no citation, no, even the guy's own research. It could have put that, but nothing is there. So
that's the weird part.
Well, no, actually, it makes perfect sense because it's not like a Christian apologetics works in a similar way where it pretends to be Christian apologetics pretends to be for the skeptic. Like I have a book called When Skeptics Ask, and you guys will have a field day if I just read a couple things from it and tell you to debunk it. We'll be here all night, but which I might do. It's just for fun. I don't know. But at any rate, it pretends to be about this thing. And it pretends to be about the skeptics. But it's not. It's about the person that wants to believe, but they have some doubts about. Oh, I don't want to be scammed. So I'm a little bit skeptical, and they see words like open-minded, and they see words like skeptic, and it all seems really reassuring. No, we have done this study. Oh, okay. And then that's it. They got their answer. That was studied.
I do think you're right about that. My only thing that I think it's weird is that he did these studies. That's a fact. And they're public record. I mean, why wouldn't you just link to them? They exist on the University of Arizona website.
Right. Well, again, there's possible reasons, because maybe the studies weren't well done. But if they give you the studies to go look, now you're not on their website, so they don't control it anymore.
That's a good point.
So, like they have videos on their website, like they have videos of this guy, doing his spirit reel, whatever. So they can control that. So if they give you an external link, they can't control what you do after that link, or if you start to Google it. So they want you to think that you're being skeptical, and they don't want to actually give you the tool to be skeptical. That's what I would think. I can't say that.
Sense.
I can't make that claim for certainty, but I would say that this guy would have to know at some level that he's lying about stuff. Maybe he believes in some of this stuff himself at some level, but ultimately, he knows it's a scam to some degree,
Yeah, well,
but
it doesn't wonder.
It doesn't matter. Ultimately, it doesn't matter because, we can't really know what's in the mind of somebody, but we can examine the argument and the claim. And here we have a bunch of claims asserted without anything to.
Right.
So it doesn't pass the bar of skeptical. On my view.
I agree with that in principle. I'm just saying he actually has studies related to those two things at least.
Yeah.
He should have linked them.
Could have, but so they could have, maybe if they were afraid of losing the control to it, they could have at least copied and pasted it to their own website or something, and
you'd think
link internally and say, here's a scan of the study, or here's a copy of the study, and you can find it right here. And you can also find it on the real website, but you can go ahead and read it here on our website, or whatever. It's interesting also that they would include Carl Sagan and, quote from him to try to give themselves some sort of more credibility.
Yeah, I thought that was weird. I looked at the website when you linked to it earlier, so that's the first thing I saw is Carl Sagan.
Yeah. I think that this is their get out of jail free. By reasonable skepticism, I mean the open-minded questioning of all phenomenon for the purpose of genuine discovery and understanding. So their get out of jail free card, if someone like me starts to ask them, where's all your studies? Why haven't you linked them? They'd be, oh, you're not being a reasonable skeptic. So they would just shut down that conversation. Oh, you're not a reasonable skeptic.
I consider myself open-minded and reasonable. I actually read his studies and kind of picked them apart. What can I say?
Yeah, I mean, and again, if they're, I'd love to look at them myself, and I'm sure, I'm fairly confident that they'd be, just really poorly done. I don't.
Well, the stupid superstar psychic thing was incredibly stupid.
Yeah.
When I first read about that, I thought, you got to be kidding me. You're letting the psychics do things you don't let the students do. Of course they're going to get more right answers.
Well, even if that wasn't the case, I would wager on the ones that knew how to do this, because they've been doing it for so long.
Right. They have lots of practice.
You know.
Oh, man, I wish I could think of that guy's name. He's been on TV all the time. Is it John Edward? I think he was one of them.
John Edward, Communicating with the Dead on Oprah. Yeah.
Yeah. He was one of them, I believe, if I recall correctly.
I mean, every now and then there will be kind of a resurgence of this sort of nonsense of psychics or, talking to the dead shows or whatever. And then it will go away for a while, and then it will come back. And, and of course, the ghost hunter thing was a big thing for a while. And there was like a million different ghost hunter shows, and it was all the same thing, like really bad camera work in the dark, and people would be like scared at nothing, and then like, oh, I saw something, everybody starts running, and it's like, you didn't, what, there was, what do you, what? And this one, like that little clock, they had this thing or whatever, not a clock, something. It was way up high and it was moving, and they're like, oh my goodness, it's ghosts. I'm like, climb up there and see what's behind the thing. Climb up there and see what's behind the thing. They didn't climb up there and see what was behind the thing. And I'm like, yeah, how do you know it was good? Like, somebody was behind it messing around. Like, I mean, duh, you know.
I wrote a couple of debunks on those shows on my website. This has been years ago now, too, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty goofy. Some of it is obviously edited. They use these stupid ghost box sound things, and they appear to be edited because I've actually tried one, so I know what they sound like. What was the other one? The weird lady medium that does an investigation with a New York detective. I can't remember the name of that show. I did a debunk on that, too. And it was just like, you know, if you actually research the thing, then it get really stupid. It can sound amazing when you watch the show, though.
Oh, yeah, yeah. If you frame it right, you can sell bullshit. Voluntary control of heart rate is somewhere in the Schwartz publications. Well, yeah, I think that's a thing. Yeah, you can make yourself calm and make your heart rate go down. You make your brain waves do different things. You can train yourself to do that. There's nothing special.
That's actually true. And
that's nothing special to that. But
there was a whole study at UMass, I think, on master meditators. They were using Buddhist.
You don't need to be. But the thing is, you don't need to be a master meditator to do it. You can just do it after a while.
But you can do it way more impressive if you are.
Yeah, right. Oh yeah, yeah. After practice, you know, like anything else, you know, you can do it. And I don't think you could get it to flatline, but you could get it, you know, pretty darn low.
Very low, yeah. At least the good.
You can't. I don't think if you could get your heart to flatline, you wouldn't want to, because you would die probably.
Some of the, I recall on the study, it might have been UMass, but I'm not sure now. On the meditators that were Buddhist monks, some of them could do things like raise and lower their body temperature and stuff. Things that we don't usually think is something people can do.
I don't know about that. Yeah.
Oh well, you know, this was a real study, though.
They had the heat, the thermovision camera or whatever. Yeah.
But again,
well, if you excited yourself enough, that might raise your temperature. Yeah.
My point was, these are things that are explicable within the realm of. They're things that people don't normally do, but it's within the realm of possibility to do. It's not supernatural in any way.
Yeah, no, none of the. Well, if any of this stuff was true, it would be something that you could show, you know.
Right.
You know, and it's like, well, they did a thing about, you know, the soul where and I couldn't believe the person said it. It was like, oh, the person was on a scale and they lost weight. I'm like, yeah, that was debunked like a long time ago.
That's an old one.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, it's like, no, it wasn't. I'm like, oh yeah, no, it was. Like, oh, okay. You know, it's like, so.
If a soul has weight, then you can measure it in other ways.
Well, yeah, that's physical. The thing with the energy. Like, we're assuming that the soul is energy. Well, why make that assumption? Like,
you know how much energy that would have to be able to weigh it?
Yeah, well, yeah, if it was just energy, well, but
a dime, if you blow it up, if you can convert it to pure energy, that's Hiroshima bomb.
Yeah,
a dime.
Right. So, in order to produce energy, you have to have something there to be producing energy. So, what, you know, without the body, what then do you have that's, you know, it's just. And again, my ultimate thing is, why wouldn't you pick up the humans in the room that are alive? If you're thinking detect souls, surely it can detect my soul.
Oh, you're soulless. Forget that.
Well, you know, mine is dark and tarnished from being a jaded skeptic, but at least it would pick it up, right?
You're an atheist.
I don't have one. Well, no, but I'm saying on the ghost show or whatever, if they've got some device that would detect the spirits, why didn't they detect their own self? Like,
oh man, Don't get me started on those.
And
stupid
you know, the
devices.
one question I asked that didn't get asked to the guy was, you know, he had said that the soul wasn't bound to time. I said, okay, well, why can't I talk to my future self, because I'm dead in the future at some point, you know, unless they've figured out immortality and I never die. But, you know, I would just ask myself questions then. Get me on the phone.
You're already dead inside. Just
Yeah, well,
admit it.
that, yeah. Or why can't I call people that are alive right now? Why can't I talk to their soul? You know, I mean, there's so many, you know, how would it work? Why would you be bound by gravity? Why would that affect you? You know,
Always love ghosts, you know, that have no bodies, no weight, no nothing, and somehow, as the Earth moves, they keep.
Yeah, that's a thing I've said for years. I mean, how do they stay in one place?
you would sink to the you would sink to the center of the Earth, or you'd be flung off of it, one or the other.
Just real quick, if you have a true time machine, you need a spaceship, because if you go back in time, you got to go where everything is now.
Yeah, you have to know where the space where the Earth is going to be, and where the solar system's going to be. So there's a lot of
Ghosts are supposed to be able to walk through walls and stuff, right?
Right. So they're saying
they never fall through the floor.
Yeah, they would fall through the floor. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So they get flung off the Earth or sink to the center of the Earth, so one or the other. But they don't, because I don't know. Like you watch the movie Ghost, for example, and the guy's jumping through a train, and he lands in the other train, and I'm like, okay, but why? Like, why didn't he just fall through the train with his feet? Like, why are his feet? Like, he has to learn how to focus his anger to manipulate the physical world. How does this work? And they don't answer the.
How does that work?
They don't answer the question. And also, like, when he's like he possesses a Whoopi Goldberg, and like they do that little dance, and she sees him as him. Did she really see him as him, or is she still seeing Whoopi Goldberg? Like. And, like, if they decided to have sex, how would that work?
Sounds convenient, though, if you could pull that off.
The movie never answers these questions. Hey, Skid Row.
Well, that's funny, because ghosts in the Japanese culture had no.
Oh, come on, Frustrated. You got to be less skeptical that they had, because they had the top mediums helping them on this project. Didn't that help your skepticism at all?
Top mediums.
Not you, not even a bit, not even slightly. Lols. I'll just keep. But yeah, okay. You know, again, if you had something, I don't care what it was, but if you had a thing that could talk to people that were gone, dead, there's zero reason that you would not just share that with the world, because you would get the Nobel Prize, and that's $1 million. So that's. You know, why be greedy and be like, oh, no one want to, you know, you'd make nickel and dimes, you know, maybe a little bit here and there. But no, forget that. Have fame and fortune forever. Have your legacy forever celebrated, you know. And the first Nobel Prize probably wouldn't be the end of it. You'd probably get other prizes on top of that, and, you know, get offers to talk everywhere, go everywhere and talk about it.
Like I said, I used to know James Rennie. I was in South Florida. Used to have the meetings. The worst ones for testing a lot of times are scientists, because they're so used to dealing with people who are not trying to con them. They don't see when they're being conned. Because there was he got a call one time, and they said, "Oh, we got somebody here. It's really good."
Oh, yeah.
He was making the
Matchbox. Yeah,
Matchboxes, right.
Well, I'd also read the thing, scientists had been convinced that their lab was haunted, and when they checked out the lab, they all felt this, like, presence in the lab, and then this one person crawled up into the vents and found a big, giant fan that was going, and then when they turned off that fan, they stopped feeling this presence. So the fan was, like, causing some weird vibrations, and that was, like, making them think that there was someone in the room with them. It was just a fan. That's all it was. It's like, yeah, so you can convince it's like I've said many, many times on Hangouts, when, like, if I get a theist or whatever, I'll be like, I'll look over at my door and be like, if my door opened right now, and it never does, you know, and that doesn't mean a ghost did it. You know, it's like, you know, and I tell people, you know, get my computer to levitate. That would prove God. They're like, yeah, but would it really? I'm like, well, it would be a good start. I'd get my camera, I'd start recording, you know, I'd try to document what was going on so I could make sure that I wasn't insane, first of all. And then, you know, I'd go from there. But it hasn't happened, so I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, but the worst ones a lot of times were the dowsers.
Oh yeah, the dowser. Yeah, I mean, this is basically you're getting it by luck, and he showed that too, where the guy couldn't get a single hit on anything or whatever. You know. Yeah. What's amazing is also the person, if they believe their own BS, like they'll be like, oh, that was in the Russian thing with the James Randi, where one of the people was like, well, I think that this stuff just can't be tested yet. And it's like, you just invited him because you thought you had the test that proved that this is real. Now you're saying it can't be tested. Whoops. You know, it's like, which you can't have it both ways here, you know. And if it can't be tested, then you can't say that it happened. You can't say it's real until you can test it. You can't say anything about it. So I don't know, but yeah, this cell phone thing, you know, it's just gonna be, they're never gonna release any of the things about how it works. They're never gonna do that. It's just gonna be one giant PR stunt to try to get people to look into it and listen to the guy and whatever.
I'll say one thing real quick, and I'm going to get a beer, is that a lot of things, like you say, this stuff goes away and comes back because now you have a new generation of people who don't know the scam.
Yeah, well, it's been a year ago with the cell phone, so they've been at this a while.
Well, yeah, but eventually that will fade. I'm talking about like,
yeah, right. It kind of comes into public attention.
I'm not talking about something that's a new thing.
Yeah,
but like I say, a lot of times, and then they'll come back after people have forgotten and all that shit and start up again. That's why they can always run a movie over again, you know, because you got a new generation.
Yeah.
Beer time.
Yeah. So yeah, and you know, I mean, I would love, you know, I think that, you know, we have such great imaginations, and it's like I would love to have that weird thing, you know, happen in reality that's just, you know, is like, well, that's new, you know.
Right,
you know,
it would be very interesting.
It'd be really cool, you know, but it's like, well, the universe is already pretty cool as it is. I mean, I thought we had discovered or we'd seen the atom like a long time ago for whatever reason. But I learned recently, no, we hadn't actually seen it until like last year when we've actually photographed the atom now. Like they bounce light off of the tip of the scanner so that they could record. And so it's like the picture looks exactly like what we thought it would. I was like, oh, that's cool. Okay, we have seen it now. I thought we already did, but no, I was wrong. Okay. You know, but it's like, well, that's pretty cool already. We don't need to add anything more to that to make it more cool. I think it was like Douglas Adams said something like, you know, the garden's good enough. We don't need to pretend that fairies are under it or running it or whatever.
That was a great loss. Douglas Adams. He had such a good way of taking a scientific fact and twisting it to make a joke out of it.
Yeah.
The improbability drive. And I forget how he worded that to, you know, they theorized on the improbability drive. And as soon as they did, boom, it came into existence. His wording was correct. But no.
7th U.S. Spiritual Symposium, The Truth About Medium by Gary Schwartz, PhD. There's a whole 2 hours of them just going over stuff. Why? I'm not going to...
I've actually watched one of those before. It's been a long time, but I did because I follow up on things.
It looks like... yeah, and again, it's more this like, okay, so here's I think this is what you were talking about with the PowerPoint. That's what they were referring to in this website. They talked about something to do with PowerPoint. And I was like, what the hell are they talking about? They could have linked this video because it said, I happened to fast forward to a port where it says PowerPoint 1, folder 2, PowerPoint 2, whatever, and blah, blah, blah. So what?
Right. Why did they do that?
Like, they could have embedded the video on their website, at least, at the very least. Nothing's there. It's bullshit. It is bullshit. But yeah, there will be another claim like this again. I like I said, I don't know how Non Sequitur got him or if he got them or whatever, but it was I'm glad, that we get these people out there so we can expose their ideas to, for what they are, because their ideas are nothing. Did we get a hold of Moses? No, yeah, we never got a hold of Elvis or Moses. We didn't get a hold of anyone. I would have called Jesus, wouldn't
Jeebus,
or the Holy Spirit, like when that,
What I would say is, I think it's very important to talk about these things, and not enough people do. I'm glad you're doing it, but that's the thing. These things are out there. Nobody ever talks about them and explains what's wrong with them. How is anybody going to know?
Oh yeah, well that's why this Non Sequitur show, I think they did. They do. They have a better reach than I ever could, but and my way of approaching it's going to be different. I mean, there's room for everybody, I think, when it comes to the being skeptical or whatever, because there's people that have more or less subs, and people that animate, people that however it is you want to, because it was interesting. Somebody that was saying skepticism is a bad worldview, and I'm like, why? Why? Tell me why.
Okay.
Give me a reason. Why do you think that? They couldn't give me a reason why, but they thought it was. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know that it is a worldview per se, like in and of itself. It could be part of one, maybe. I never know how to approach the worldview thing because I don't even know that I have one. But
but the thing is, skepticism itself doesn't mean you don't ever accept anything once you get the data that proves.
Oh yeah, exactly.
See, that's the thing. They're talking like you're a skeptic, and you just stay that way.
Right, like as if, but see, that's no longer skepticism in the sense that I would view it, because like, okay, here's the data, and you're like, well, I don't know, maybe we got the data wrong. Well, that's possible, but then you go, no, we checked everything, we didn't get the data wrong. Well, and there's a point where you leave behind being doubtful, and you start to have to believe things in order for your doubt to be true. So especially when you get into conspiracy theory, the amount of thing that you have to believe accelerates upwards, and in order to go against the easiest answer. And I'm still kind of on and off working on understanding probability logic, which is different than informal logic in a massive scale. So one example that I'd come up with to try to talk about probability logic is, you start out with a very simple scenario. You go outside and you notice that your car is missing, and you think, okay, well, it might have been stolen. But then you realize, well, wait a minute, I'm on a hill. So, well, maybe it's just rolled down the hill. You look down the hill, there's no car. Okay, so you go back to your first assumption that it was stolen, and you go, well, maybe it was ticketed, maybe that, and you have a lot of different thoughts that come to mind. And you call the police, your car's not impounded, so okay, it's probably you reported as stolen, because in that moment you can't think of a better answer. But then as you're reading the newspaper, you see that the circus is in town, and that they recently had an escaped trained chimp that knows how to steal cars get loose. And you're like, no, and so you call up the circus and go, hey, do you guys have a car with the license plate? You give them your license plate, and they go, yeah, we do. Sorry, this happens all the time. So if you rewound all that and you said, well, my car is missing, obviously a trained chimp took it, that would be the most ludicrous thing that you could have proposed in that moment. But the probability accelerates the more information that you get about that this is even a possibility, because you never even thought about it before you had all this new information.
Sure.
But at first, the probability that that's the case is very low. So that it's an agent is a pretty decent probability. And that's the way our brain usually works, is that we assume agency. We assume something took my car rather than the car ran down the hill because the brakes gave out. We usually jump to the conclusion that there was an agent involved. which is probably how the idea of God developed in the first place. Is somebody's in Africa and they're walking along and the rock hits them in the head. They look around for someone that threw it. They don't see anybody. They don't see any animals. And they go home and they tell everybody about how this invisible thing threw a rock at them. And before you know it, they have a sky deity that's throwing rocks. And well, in reality, it was a rock that was spewed from a volcano miles and miles away. But they couldn't have known that. So, but yeah, so the probability of something being true or false increases or decreases depending on how much data you have on it. So the stipulation that a dragon stole my car is completely improbable unless I have an example that a dragon is even real in the first place.
Right. Anyway. I guess I did my bit explaining those studies.
Yeah.
So I gotta check out of here. It's good to talk to you again, though. It's been a long time.
Pop on my videos and say stuff or something.
Sure, why not?
I clipped the guy. Yeah, I clipped the guy's video. It's real good. And there's your flat Earth.
On the flat Earth thing.
I used to see you on Quiet Atheist too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've hung out together before.
Yeah,
it's been a long time.
No, but it's debunking the flat Earth because you can see the distances beyond the horizon.
Well, there again, you have the accelerated beliefs. In order to believe the Earth is flat, the amount of things that you have to believe accelerates upwards. Because first you have to believe that all the scientists are getting it wrong somehow. Or they're, it's a conspiracy. So now you have to believe in that as well. And then you have to believe, so the amount of things that you actually have to believe goes up, not down. Even though from their perspective, they're like, but I just see that it looks flat. And it's like, that doesn't mean anything. That's not how it works. Anyways. All right, bye. Oh, he left. Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to play the movie, but unfortunately, the movie didn't play, so I just took a real quick.
Reese wanted to call up Joseph Smith and complain about Mormons. Yeah, I mean, it would be again, there's an appeal to, that we wish that we could access the minds of the past, and the only realistic in that, and saying realistic needs quotes, the only way you could hope to do that is to find an alternate universe that was exactly like ours, but in a different time period, and find the Earth. That would be it, and get there somehow. Good luck. Yeah, I mean, you'd have to find the universe that exactly is like ours, with an Earth that's in a time frame that's not ours. So that the Einstein there is still alive because they're in the whatever the century is, and then somehow also go there. And
I don't have the article, a Scientific American article, when it was talking about how far you would have to go to run into another universe within the same universe.
Yeah.
How you would have to, but it was unbelievable distances you would have to go until finally you had a chance to run into another section just to be the same. Not necessarily in the same time period, not necessarily back in time, but to run into another duplication. And the distance is
if you had a hypothetical infinite universe where every possible combination that could be has been done, then eventually you would run into a duplicate Earth. But then eventually you would also run into a duplicate Earth that also had duplicate evolution. But how far you'd have to go to get there, and whether or not you would get there in time, of course, it's all hypothetical, anyways. But yeah, it's like, well, you'll never get there. Period. I mean, the universe will die before you get there.
So. Well, like I say, can you see that picture real good? Because you can see the one ship is below. I love that picture. That's the best one I've seen.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, the ship. The people on the ship lie, and I mean, they're just lying about having crossed the world, and
they were somehow fooling me years ago, 1970, when I flew over to Asia. They somehow faked me out when I was halfway across the Pacific, And I cause for some reason couldn't see Asia, and also at the same time look out the other window and see, America. I was high enough, flat Earth. I should be able to see them.
Yeah, exactly. I said, if you went to the high, really tall building, you just had a really powerful microscope, a telescope, rather. Well, you had a powerful enough microscope, I guess. You had a powerful enough telescope that you could just see, whatever. But then they go, oh, well, see, light fails after a certain distance, blah, blah, blah. And so, like, the things, again, there's the amount of things that you have to believe goes up to maintain the belief that you have. It doesn't go down. You don't be so, like people love to do the whole, it takes more faith to be an atheist thing. And I'm like, well, what do you mean by that? Do you think faith is good or bad? Because you've just said faith in regards to theism and atheism. So if faith is good, then it's good that I have more faith. And if it's bad, and you're saying that you have therefore less faith, then it's bad to have faith. So I should try to have as least amount of faith as possible. And they go, no, I meant faith without evidence. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, then what evidence do you have? Oh, well, and then you're like, so yeah, so you can skip the whole little, cookie cutter remark of it takes more faith, because all it really means in the end is you think you have evidence, and you think that I've missed that evidence, I'm ignoring it, just something thereof. And so it's like, well,
real quick, is the thing is, now they always bring up NASA. Well, it's the 60th anniversary of NASA. See, I was over at my uncle's listening to the radio when they announced on the radio as one of their news articles about a new organization coming into existence called NASA. So all my science books had nothing to do with NASA in grade school.
Like this one guy, my brother had been watching these flat Earth nitwits, and said, one of them said, well, the word dinosaur wasn't invented until whatever, so therefore dinosaurs were an invention because they're not in the Bible, so obviously you can't have dinosaurs, and so that means the world is flat because that's what the Bible says. And I'm like, what? How do you go from like what happened there? Like, how'd you get there from there? So yeah.
This is why God made cliffs, so when you get close, you just push them off. Get rid of that gene pool.
What is that? What is that thing? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, mind triangle. Something, one of these, another woo site like what we're talking about, where this guy was going on and on about triangles. I'm trying to find the video for it, or the whatever it was for it, which I can't.
Yeah, like you don't hear much about the Bermuda Triangle anymore. That's
it kind of went away as a thing.
It went away, but they'll migrate back in again.
Here we go. I think this is it. People feel powerless in today's world, but all that can change. People feel weak in today's world, but all that can change. Journey with Mystic. Can't pronounce that name. Whatever.
I have a whole bunch upstairs I need to go through and read, but again, Scientific America has 50 years ago, or 25, 50, 100 years ago. So back in 1977 or so, they had one like 100 years ago, in 1877. And I got a kick out. It says, back in the good old times, not good old days, the good old times, when things were slower, and they were complaining about things being fast in 1877.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, again,
slower.
Let me ask you this. Would you want there to be actual magic or something actually, one of these mythical things to be real, like a dragon or something like that? Would you want something like that to be real if you had that power?
Superpowers would be nice, but anyway, because boy, I'd be visiting some places. Never mind. So anyway, to me, I've not dove deeply into a lot of things. You know, I haven't got a degree or anything. But if you really explore things, there's so much in the real universe, especially now since we have so many tools to look at shit, you know,
Yeah.
satellites, the whole bit. So many things that's just more than enough.
Yeah, I was saying that. It's like that, and there's that Symphony of Science, that song where it's like, you know, it's all really there. It's really, really there. So it's like,
I meant
yeah,
I meant that guy. That was down there in
no,
Florida. They started the Darwin Day. That was the first place. There was a community college there. They started Darwin Day, and James Randi, of course, showed up because he's got the beard and all. And not long after that, you know, I forget which one's first. I think it's Darwin Day. Then comes Carl Sagan, because him and Carl Sagan used to be friends. They used to talk once in a while. Anyway, so what was I getting at? But you know, no, yeah, but at the one meeting, the guy who does that was there. We were enjoying that. They played a few.
Oh, the person that made the Symphony of Science thingies?
Yeah. And the thing is, he had not a problem, but with Carl Sagan's wife, he had to go through little things because she had to kind of pre-approve that she liked how he did it, which is understandable.
Yeah, because they want, you know, his legacy preserved and all that. Melody Sheep is the channel.
Yeah, it's changed, you know, but
yeah, well, they just did a new video lately. I haven't listened to yet.
that's why I had a chance one time to visit, you know, get to see, Aaron Raw. He came down a couple of times for the, biology for Darwin Day, and then he was here. And I keep saying, gee, you never give me any credit for that thing you took from me.
What was that?
That was, you know, science doesn't know everything, but religion doesn't know anything.
Oh, yeah.
And he just gives me a look. And it's a shame I had my wife there to kind of jar his memory. Oh, yeah, we were at lunch, blah, blah, blah. And that was the one thing. And like I say, one day Randy stole one of my little side bits of joking. Was on the stuff with the dilution of stuff, homeopathic medicine.
Yeah.
Because he was going to do a TED. It wasn't too long after he had just had a heart attack, and his head was still getting back together because he was close to cashing in. Because he just walked into the hospital and went down, and luckily he was at the right place. So anyway, you had to do an 18-minute presentation. So at one of the monthly meetings, he was going through his routine to see if he could do it and any suggestions and stuff. So after he got done, and I just kind of said, you know, in my breath, I said, yeah, a guy died of an overdose. You know, the weaker something is, the stronger it is in homeopathic medicine, you know, because he forgot to take it, and he can't get no stronger than that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it doesn't.
I see him with pencil and paper kind of writing something down. I go, oh, okay. He used it. No big
deal. I think that, you know, James Randi would take the bottle of sleeping pills that was homeopathic. Yeah, it's like, I'm pretty sure, like, if you swallowed a bottle of actual sleeping pills on stage, that you would not be speaking for that long. You would probably collapse at some point. I'm not sure how long it would take, but you know, he usually, you know, does like an hour-long thing or whatever. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you would collapse within that time.
Yeah, the thing is, he said it was a pain in the ass because they're like chalk. You know, you eat a lot of that, but I was like,
Wow, this
something to drink with it.
Yeah.
Oh, you fell asleep last night, I see.
Miss Soul Phone. Sorry, Reese. You have to watch it on the Non Sequitur show if you want to listen to them talk to the one of the spokesmen for the Soul Phone thing. Spoiler: he doesn't answer any question, and he makes a lot of assertions, like the website does that I was complaining about the last hangout. Which I call the cell phone. Now I'm calling this one. Let's not call the cell phone. I hung up on myself in the last hangout, and now I'm back in this hangout, and I've got Paul with me. Wanted to say Gary for some reason.
Oh, what the hell? I'm a forgivable person. No
Have you
problem.
heard from the Quiet Atheist in a while? I haven't heard.
Yeah, he's on YouTube. I mean, he's on Facebook.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's last
Yeah.
I heard, he was doing pretty rough. So I don't know.
I know. I financially, I just said that's
I was
it.
like, I was like, look, I can't. I don't have any money, so you know. But
I won't say here how much.
yeah. But
But
I mean, I don't know.
I know he's having problems, but well, welcome to the club of life. You know, sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for that, but you're still eating. You still got a place to sleep. So
Better off than some people. Yeah, I mean, you know.
what can I say?
And then okay, so you didn't get a chance to respond to this a lovely thing last time. You know of S.J. Thompson, right? Or do you?
I'm horrible for names. That's why I was surprised. I remembered what's your name's name earlier, the psychic.
Okay, well, anyways, she's a Christian apologist. So her latest tweet, I'm trying to get her to come on to talk about it and, you know, explain herself. I'm like, maybe you would like to retract what you said. And she's like, no, I believe it. And I'm like, okay, well, do you want to come and talk about it? So she put on Twitter, Christianity cures depression. It did get a lot of good responses from that tweet. A few people had some things to say about that.
Yeah,
so,
somebody was talking about, you know, religion and, you know, and I see it all the time because I have a lot of people on my Facebook page, you know, who are religious. And
is that not her name?
I never go into it there. I don't do that with my Facebook page. I'll go to other sites, but I won't say nothing to them. But every time, almost, I would say 90% easily of anything they post, and I go to check it out, and I'll put a pretty picture on of something, you know, flowers, whatever it is, and pray, you know, praise up to the Lord, you know, thing, you know, that bullshit, you know.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you know how much I feel like posting a starving baby.
Yeah. It's like, oh, one like equals one prayer, and one response is one, you know, it's like, what, you know. Like,
Praise be to the Lord, or send up.
God is always good. Yeah, well, I don't know about that.
Yeah, but he said he was also the creator of all those things.
Well, that doesn't, that's a you're taking that out of context, and it's a wrong translation.
I'm about to read the whole goddamn Bible, so I can't not take it out.
No, because you know reasons, whatever. Man, what the bleep is her name? Now I'm convinced that I've said it wrong. No, it's S.J. Thompson. I was right. What, am I saying it wrong?
I don't know.
That's what I said. I said Thompson. What am I saying the wrong? I'm saying the last name wrong.
Looking at the chat or something? Because I don't.
Yeah, the chat room.
Oh, okay.
Theo Mason. Oh, So Mason. So Mason. I don't know. I'm gonna say Thompson because I can't pronounce that last name. Screw it. I don't care.
Bullshit, but any of her name still sounds like.
Yeah, Frustrated is going to debate her. It will be epic. Once again, Frustrated. Let me know if you want anything. I'm there for you, man. I'll be your mod. I'll look at your argument, whatever it is. I want to help.
Argument for what?
Thomason. Oh, I like it my way better. I'm gonna forget how to say it normally anyway, so doesn't matter. This is flipping off. Like, I give up. You know, look, I can't say names right. Okay, it's an established thing that I can't say words and names right. But yeah, I was like, you know, might want to retract that. No, I believe it. Okay. Thompson for life. Well, just go. At least I can say Reese. See, I can say that name. It's like there's certain, there's things that like my brain just was like, no, this is how you say it. I'm like, okay.
You're not complaining about having problems with my showing my picture.
What? I don't know. I'm not looking at it.
Never usually said you would lock up and have problems. You haven't been complaining.
Oh no, yeah. It's I don't know. Maybe
I put it on the lowest res.
Okay, that's it. What is on the speaker there? That weird little fluffy animal. What the bleep is that? Yeah, that
speaker. No, it's not. Yeah. It's not even that.
What is it?
You're completely off.
I don't know what it is.
That's why I'm going to go get it.
No. You can just tell me what it is.
No, because
you want to show me what it is. What the hell am I looking at?
You never watch, Game of Thrones?
No. Okay. So it's a
person. That's the queen.
Oh, it's a person's head and their head.
It's a pops.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Right, I got it.
She's on her throne.
Yeah, I don't know what I was looking at. What?
That's the mother of dragons. Wait a second.
I bet it's like
you open up the kettle of fish. It's your problem now.
I don't know what your last name is. So how can I possibly? It's C. That's all I know. I don't know how to pronounce anything. You didn't put it there.
How's that?
Huh? What? Oh, okay. I'm looking at more stuff. Oh, she's on a dragon now. Oh,
yeah, she's the mother of dragons.
Oh, okay. That's adorable. Yeah, that makes more sense. I don't know. All right.
Go watch the series.
Look, I'm waiting until it's over, and then I can catch up on it. I waited till the last season of Lost before I started watching, and then the last season screwed it up. Why? What? Okay. Anyways.
No, I never watched it. There's enough things to watch anyway. I'm only kidding with you.
Fringe was solid though, Colette. What the hell are you guys talking about? They're speaking other languages. They've all become speaking in tongues and chat now.
No. They're speaking tongues. We're speaking true tongues. You should be able to understand them.
Colette. I don't know. Confetti. It's Reese Confetti. That's how you say her name.
No. Well, who's the?
Because the reason why I say it's confetti is because whenever you see her, it's a party, and you're like, "Oh, confetti!" You throw it in the air, and it's like, "Yay!"
No.
That's what you do. If you don't do it, then you're wrong. You have to have confetti.
I can live with it.
Yeah. I mean, it was that, or it could have made the other joke, but that was equally as bad. So I'm a dude. Oh, well, see. Whatever. I mean, it's okay. You can be whatever you want. You can be a robot. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. You can be whatever you want. Reese is a girl. Reese is a guy. I don't know, man. I don't know anything. Reese's Pieces. That's all I know anymore. Okay, this is derailed so much. So we talked about the phone, and we talked about the website, and then I talked about what you guys talked about in the chat. So it's all been talked about. I think I'm out. I think I'm done. Lift my leg and shit. Okay. That doesn't mean that proves nothing.
These people invest in the goddamn $70 item that they can throw on top of their screen and get on the damn chat.
They don't, look, I mean, they've got other things better to do than talk to us. So
the writing, there's a difference.
All right, okay. I think that we'll call it here though, because I'm out of ideas. But I don't know. One of these people might do another hangout. I don't know.
Whole universe out there to talk.
Yeah, there's a whole universe to talk about. All right, if you all Sorry, Reese.
50% of your
We
choice.
love you, Reese. We do. Come back. Don't be mad. We're just
Don't
teasing.
Don't go away. No. It's don't go away, mad. Just go away.
We only tease you because we like you. If we didn't like you, trust me, you would know.
You don't over here. Huh?
You don't want to be on the bad side of me. It's bad.
Well, you can get through the screen. I'm not worried.
Yeah. I'm gonna get you, Paul, one day.
I'm worried. No,
I'm gonna use the soul phone to punch you in the soul. I don't know.
Unbelievable. You know, that's the problem. The education level is not up to what it needs to be. Not even close.
They were just. I was just. I tweeted that out or Facebooked it that whatever the bleep country it is now, Finland, is kicking everybody's butt in education because they're doing it. They're not doing it like they actually changed it. They actually updated it. Whereas our system's still based on the factory worker method. Like the whole point of education is not to get people to know anything; it's to get people to be obedient. It's like, yeah, that's why you learn all this pointless stuff. And so they wait until like the kid is like 7 or something like that before they even start school. They start school later because of the kid cut whatever the natural cadence rhythm thing. They actually educate. They don't grade them. They actually teach them so they can learn. They actually give them stuff that like, here's how to balance your checkbook because you're going to need to know that. Here's, things about real life that you're going to need to.
Wait, real quick. That's the problem. I had that shit in school.
We didn't.
I did.
So.
I had that class where we were actually.
Here's what it means. Here's how to get a house, or here's what money is, or whatever. Here's how to identify a mental illness.
We covered every damn thing, but we covered a lot of stuff.
Yeah, but it. So, anyways, Finland's kicking our butt in that area, and I was like, okay, so we need to do that, and then the jail system in wherever the bleep it is. I don't remember now, but there's a jail system where they have like a 1% repeater offense rate, and the jails look like they're like hotel rooms. And it's like, yeah, because they've redefined what justice is. Like they help the people out mentally when they go in. They don't you don't have a black cloud hanging over your head forever. It's like.
But this is the problem. I used to have arguments with these so-called conservatives who say, oh, people go to jail so they get an education. Whatever the case is, I said, well, if you don't educate them, what the fuck you think they're going to do when they get the hell out again? If they have no fucking trade, they have no education, what do you think they're going to do?
Yeah.
An education to begin with.
If you there's this whole song, Don't Stay in School, that I really like, that lists a bunch of things that could be in school but aren't, and things that you don't need to know but are there. And, it's like, the thing is, you hear, well, we need better education. We need to change the education system in whole from the bottom up, because it is not, you don't learn anything. You learn how to memorize at best. And I don't remember a dang thing from school.
I had a science teacher, and he says, he's going to go through a whole bunch of shit, but he was one who would show you why things were.
Yeah, there are a couple of lessons I remember.
Anyway, he walked over to, was a double door, there was a storage area, it was a double door, and he took the one door, and then he closed it real quick, and the other one popped open. And he says at the end of the year, you're going to write a little short reason why you think that happens. But I was at the end of the year. But, you got to teach people, and that's called logical thinking of how to think.
Yeah, how to think. And spark their curiosity, too. That's another thing.
Another thing is, we used to watch the news, and then my wife would go, oh, this is happening, that. And it'll be something new. Yeah. Wait a couple weeks until the rest of the shit comes out.
She came in, the science teacher, Bobbitt, she came in and she had this container of there was these black things that were bouncing up and down in it, and it was yellow liquid. And she's like, these are sewer lice. And she's like, write down what you see. And it's like trying to figure out what the bleep is going on. Like, I'm trying to, and I'm not really like. And then this other kid came in. He like actually drank from the thing. I'm like, that can't be sewer water. They wouldn't let him drink. Like nothing's adding up. Like, it's like it smells funny, but it doesn't smell like sewer water. I mean, it's just. And then it's just like, okay, so this isn't sewer water. It's 7-Up, and those are just raisins. And the reason why it's going up and down is because the cracks of the raisins are catching onto the bubbles. And so it's like it was teaching us to observe. Write down what you observe. Don't listen to what I'm saying. Write down what I'm observing. And so that lesson stuck with me, even though maybe I didn't understand it at the time, like I do now. And I'm like, well, that was genius.
That's the other problem too, is that people, they don't understand the fact that. I used to teach a class for amateur radio at a community college. It was a nighttime uncredited course, and anyway, and a lot of times I would get, well, why are you teaching me this? Or what do I need to, all I want to do is talk on my radio. I says, no, you're going to run into a problem sometime. Something's not going to be working right. Something's just, whatever the case may be. And the thing is, I don't expect you to remember what the answer is, but I expect you to remember that there is a solution, so you're smart enough to ask. Instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, you go, no, I know there's a solution to this, and then you get in touch with somebody, me, whatever the case is. And that's the whole problem. A lot of people say, well, what do I need to know this? Why do I said, you just don't know what the future's going to bring up. Yeah.
You need to know how to problem solve in a general sense.
My favorite word is serendipity. As you go to explore one thing, you discover other things along the way.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing. The whole idea behind schools should also be to expose you to a lot of different things.
Yeah. Yeah, they were talking about that with universities to shut down. We can't have this speaker because they're so controversial. That's the whole point. If you're not getting challenged with ideas that you don't like, how can you learn? How can you defend against somebody that you've never had that argument presented to you? It's like, we'll have somebody come up and say, the Holocaust isn't real. What are you going to say now? How are you going to defend that? How are you going to argue that? Well, but that will offend me. Well, tough. Grow up. Get a pair. God. Stop being such a snivelly crybaby. Like, and
that's where you're supposed to go to be jarred.
Well, but now it's dead and dying, so I don't know, man.
Well, no, that's just cycles again. There's this thing I always like to bring up. It's called the pendulum. And the problem with the pendulum, it hangs up here for a little while.
Yeah, it comes down. We're on the down slope, man. That's what I see.
As it goes through to go to the other side, it goes through the middle area, which is like the happy medium, real quick. And it's back up to the other side. But it's always in swing. It's always in swing.
Yeah, well, I'm too jaded to see it going back up again. So when it happens, then I'll believe it. But yeah, as far as like, teen pregnancy, suicide, all that stuff. Huh?
You voting?
Am I voting?
Are you going to vote the next election?
There, yeah. Okay.
Well, then that's what you do.
Not that my vote matters, but
that's what. Yeah, but if everybody thinks the same way,
it doesn't.
Then don't you remember how excited I got? Were you in the conversations when they were talking before dumbass became president, and they couldn't understand why I was so excited?
Well, because the Electoral College won.
But they didn't understand. Well, I got. They're all the same. Well, apparently they are not all the same, are they?
There's better voting systems we could have that we don't.
Not in voting systems. I'm talking about people.
No, I think I laid this out in a different hangout, but that because everybody's so addicted to phones, and now they're like, oh, hey, this is a problem. Like, this is causing people to be depressed, and it's like, yeah, get rid of your phone for a while. And like there was somebody that was like, I'm hearing all this bad stuff on the news, and this is making me remember this bad thing that happened to me. I'm like, turn off the news. Oh, you know, like, turn off the internet. You don't have to be online. You don't have to listen to the radio. Like, everybody's talking about it. No. Just, if, you know, that's not true. Not everybody's talking about it. You know, you're just around people and you're noticing it. So just don't be around it. It's that simple. Yeah. I think. But yeah, I think what we're gonna have to do with voting is make some sort of point system where, like, when you vote, you get a point for it, and then you can turn in your points for. I don't know.
Mandatory. You go like Australia. I believe in mandatory voting.
No, because then you do it begrudgingly.
Listen to me out.
To be earned, you have to earn it, like in Starship Troopers.
Mandatory voting, and Australia has this, and I like their system that you can vote for your first, second, third, whatever.
Oh, yeah, that's first past the post.
I love that system.
No.
Then you can vote for that third party to show you're not happy with the other two parties. But then you vote for who you know, the next one, so you don't throw your fucking vote away.
Yeah, but sounds like people need therapy. Yeah. I had my video about that sort of phenomenon was I stand with logic. You know, because there's all this I stand with what, you know, whatever the bleep the guy is and the gal is or whatever. I stand with the victim. I stand with what, and it's like, I stand with logic. How about that? That's what I'll stand with. They'll just, you know, look, I don't know. I don't have enough data to make any sort of judgment on who is guilty or innocent or whatever. Oh, but what about this? I don't have enough information. Oh, but what about, no, I don't have, I still don't, you know, it doesn't matter.
That's another problem.
Yeah.
That's another problem. Real quick. There's another problem is, you know, too many people think they have to know the answer.
Yeah, I don't know. And it's like, okay, you know, I was listening to
not knowing something.
Yeah, Bill Cosby's, you know, finally, you know, he's gonna get. I don't know if he's been tried or not, or was going to. Or like, oh, he has. Was he was found guilty on the one thing or whatever?
He's got like 3. I think.
Oh yeah, that's right. They were debating about whether they should put him in jail or not, like because he's so old.
3 to 10 years.
I'm like, yeah,
he'll probably get out in 6 months or so.
I'm like, no, put a, you know, just have him, make him like have to go talk about, you know, how you know, what sort of person to look out for or something. I don't know, but you know, make him do community service. You know,
make it because you know so many jokes I used to love to use. Now I can't use them from him.
No, of course you can.
I understand it, but to me, it's just tainted.
It's a real. It's like the arguments is separate from the person. The jokes are separate from the person.
Yeah, but a lot of people know these jokes and they go, "Oh, Bill Cosby." And I don't want to.
So
I don't want to go around about it.
You make it about, you forget about Cosby and you make the joke.
I'm shutting the switch off for that radio.
Make him do more. I thought that he should dive into a pool full of Jello and say a belly flop as he says, "I'm sorry, smack." You know, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. You know, look, okay, so the system found him guilty, so now he's guilty. Before that, I'm like, I don't know. No, but all these people have come forward. That doesn't mean anything. So, yeah, it doesn't mean doesn't. You know, why didn't they do that earlier? I don't know. You know, were they trying to, you know, open for money settlement? Maybe. I don't know. I don't have any of the. I don't have the info. I don't. So it's innocent until proven guilty. And until then, you know. And sometimes the system fails. You know, like, you know, Why I Did It by O.J. Simpson. It's like basically tells you
why a lot of people don't say things, regardless of what the incident is.
You know, I can believe that OJ did it as much as I want. It doesn't matter. He was found innocent. So, okay, maybe the system failed. But we take that, you know, we can improve the system, you know, but we've got it. I think it's enough already with people doing the, you know, we're going to decide that the person's innocent or guilty, and we're going to make that known. And it's like, look, just be, enough, and the media plays right into it. But whatever. I don't know.
No, they don't play into it. It's what sells papers. Give me a
That's
break.
what I'm saying. That's what I mean. Yeah. So anyways, go watch my video, Stand with Logic. I guess. I mean, that's my only message here. And then I should go. I should end this because I don't know what I'm doing now. I didn't.
You do know what you're doing?
He wasn't found. He was found not guilty. Right. He wasn't found innocent. That's true. So yeah, that would be interesting if you could find somebody like there would be a case where you could say I find them innocent as opposed like on top of not guilty, like you're clearing their name, like there's enough evidence to say that we know they, you know, like yeah, they came in innocent but they leave truly innocent, and then they can't have this cloud. I don't know, that probably would probably be a way to abuse.
The thing is, the problem is it's either two things: guilty or not innocent, not proven guilty.
Yeah,
innocent, you're just not enough evidence to prove that you're guilty.
Right. Okay. So that's what I'm saying. Like you should be able to.
You know, the system should be. I think I'm not sure if it's the Chinese or one of the governments, whatever occasion it was, an Asian one. It isn't that. It's how innocent or guilty are you in this situation? Yes, he's guilty of punching you in the face, but you were in his face screaming.
Right. Yeah. There's. Yeah. I mean, You know. I mean, did you kind of like provoke the thing or whatever? It's like.
That's what I'm saying. How guilty or innocent is a person with this situation?
Well, yeah. There's and the whole way. Then you could also question the punishment thing in and of itself, which I often do. It's like I think that it's like, what good does it do me to have that person, you know, get the death penalty or whatever is going to happen to them? Like something went wrong in their brain for them to do that bad thing. And so why not fix their brain? Now maybe we can't fix their brain, but we should try. And if we try and we fail, then okay, then we'll figure out what to do then. But we have to try. And people go, oh no, this person deserves no mercy and they have to be behind bars. Why? What is them being behind? Okay, yes, remove them so they don't hurt anyone, sure. But then let's make them healthy so that they are not doing that. But you know, it changes how you perceive the whole system, because it's like, you know, maybe maybe something went wrong in their brain. How do you know?
Another problem is we have in society is somebody does something wrong and it hangs with them, so they can never really change because people won't let them change. Right away, they're guilty continuously. You know, here, I'll give you an example of how people think. When you hear somebody call you a Scrooge, you should say thank you. And people look at me when I say that. I said, don't you remember the end of the story?
Yeah, he becomes good, right?
Yeah. See, nobody remembers the end of
the story. But see, the story is based on a logical fallacy, appeal to fear and appeal to consequence. So I'm going to be skeptical of that story's conclusion.
Yeah, you know, this is the problem. Is somebody says you're a Scrooge. I said that to somebody. Oh, thank you. And they looked at me and said, like, don't you remember the end of the story?
Yeah. All right. I really do need to end this so I can go. So yeah, I know. Go ahead and go rumble at me. All right. Thanks everybody for listening and tuning in and doing pancakes and lobsters and whatever else. And we'll listen until we have whatever. Bye. I'm out. All right. Hit the button.
I feel left out.